An endless quarrel over nothing. Comment on the great Shakespeare authorship controversy on the internet, HLAS. The debate has now been going on for some 11 years of endless quarrelling about who really wrote the works of Shakespeare, which has now produced some 25,000 discussions in which one theme has been dominant. The meanness of Stratfordians slugging any opposition, with a thuggy might by any means destroying any effort at alternative ideas and theories and research, trying honestly to offer better explanations to the problem of the most unsatisfactory representation of an amateur, illiterate and phony upstart from the country as the master of the finest poetry yet written in the English language, while, in fact, all other theories are much more satisfactory, convincing, and make better sense. But since they can't be proven, the Stratfordian meanness arrogantly pursues and assumes the right of keeping up the bully attitude, defending the establishment at any cost, persisting in maintaining that there's only one side to the truth, ignoring and suppressing that there are more sides to any truth than ever can be grasped, encompassed, or suspected. Meanwhile, the works keep marching on, completely unperturbed by academic quarrels, living their own lives of masks and set-up characters, and never quarrelled over as if their creator, that most dubious, enigmatic and evasive author, never had existed. And perhaps that was the very aim and purpose and intention, let alone desire of the author. If you still can love her, after seeing her each morning long before her toilet makeup, naked to the soul, unmasked, with wrinkles, warts and all, in her worst temper and most boring mood, if you have come to know her all that deep and still must keep her in your heart, in love that rather grows than fades, in spite of all her weakness and confusion, then, my friend, you are completely lost. But fortunately only in for love, which rather is a victory than any loss. The lover. That I loved you, no one can deny, and that I loved you deeply, I confess, and even that I love you still and more than ever, but in my own way, without insulting, without causing hurts and without importuning, stealing furtively into your heart, with smoothness and discretion, without friction, so that you would never know, and no one else would notice either for that matter, that I was the man who visited your bed, as your true only lover, never to abandon it, but being always there at hand at any time. So will I keep you up, my love, sustaining what we both need most of all, the very stuff that made us, which we cannot do without, which only truest lovers ever dared to dream of, and which we possessed from the beginning. Resistance. Love is never stronger and more vital in its growth, expansion and dynamic than when it is thwarted and resisted, nothing being more character edifying than adversity and trial. I am not afraid, come whatever, and I will face up to it with you and keep you covered and supported by the most infallible and powerful of weapons, which of course is love, which never runs out, never can run out of ammunition. We have everything together, which includes the world and all our dreams, encompassing the world in magic beauty of our love, which nothing can pervade or permeate, but which can only blissfully expand to never cease enlarging freedom limits. Why philosophers don't marry. The maturest lovers best fit for marriage are philosophers, but philosophers don't marry. Arthur Schopenhauer. Philosophers don't marry since they love too much and too sincerely. to be a match for mortal love expression. They take love too seriously to not get hurt too deeply by the smallest friction and controversy. They think too much to share the flair of wanton wives. They are too slow in action while too busy dreaming, and they never seem to manage to get down to earth, to qualify for the responsibility of mundane business. Still, they are the best of lovers, for they take it much more seriously than others, and their faithfulness is more reliably profound than can be found in any married couple. So they stay off marriage just to save their love, for honesty and faithfulness of everlasting value, growing and expanding constantly in more potential than can be confined in any mortal flesh. Varför filosofer inte gifter sig? Endast filosofer kan ha lyckliga äktenskap, men filosofer gifter sig inte. Arthur Schopenhauer. Filosofer brukar inte gifta sig då deras kärlek går för djupt och är för sårbar i sin innerliga ärlighet för att rätt passa in i dödlig kärlekslek. Den minsta frustration, friktion och kontrovers blir allt för djupa sår som stannar kvar. De tänker alldeles för mycket för att unna sig det lättsinne som fruar kräver. De är allt för långsamma i handling och för upptagna med drömmerier för att kunna ta del i det ansvar som samhället kräver. Ändå är de bäst bland älskare, för de tar kärleken mer djupt på allvar än de andra, och de vet vad trohet är och dess betydelse och vikt, och är mer pålitliga än något äktenskap. Så därför håller de sig därifrån, helt enkelt för att skydda och bevara sin sårbara kärleks ömhets innerliga klara låga och bevara troheten intakt i evighetens renhet, växande och expanderande konstant i mer betydande potens än vad som någonsin kan rymmas i det dödliga. Your faces. A double-faced woman is usually multiple. Which face of yours is true, or is it, as I would suspect, that all your masks are true as faces, counterfeiting masks to hide your delicate vulnerability, thus protecting you from falseness and attack by simply being truer than what anyone could think is possible for you to be? Men usually regard all women with suspicion, almost taking it for granted that they must be false, and therefore needs deserve debasing treatment, while the opposite, more often than not, is the case. That ladies take in and accept the denigration by their love to make their misled men think better and improve, and thus learn love for real by women's aching hearts of self-effacement for the sake of love and life. Your mask of beauty is more real then than the faces hid beneath it, which are the more interesting for their ability of such variation. Depression. July in Sweden has caused havoc by constant furious rainfalls like in England. The depression is like some infectious disease, disastrously affecting anyone with fits of anguish, making them burst out in tears in worse cascades than the incessant rains bombarding us with fury, drowning us in misery, bereaving us of summer, so that frail hearts break up and dissolve in desperation, and no medicine, no treatment, nothing helps, since all these rains just keep on falling down, as if to drag all mankind down in torrents of disaster, in some kind of new flood just beginning. Cheer up, we still have our hearts and souls. The music of persistent universal harmony can never be shut down, for even if the melodies are drowned in squalls of noise and the world menace and infection of disharmony, the true heart will still go on singing, if for nothing else, at least for love. Requiem for a Dead Poet. Keats, Shelley, Rupert Brooke, Wilfred Owen, and others. Rupert Brooke fell on Shakespeare's birthday, 23rd April 1915, 28 years old. His birthday was on August 3rd and Shelley's on August 4th. Wilfred Owen fell on the Western Front 1 week before Armistice, 1918, 25 years old. It's a constantly recurring problem, the divinely gifted poet who just disappears without a reasonable explanation, quite unfairly and without justification, as if his name really had been written in water, leaving after him a terrible bereavement and a sense of loss that must remain forever. And it's worse each time it happens, whether sailed away or taken by the storm, exactly when life's fortune starts to smile with health and happiness, or exiled in the trenches to the last place any human being would deserve, to serve as cannon fodder for the universal vanity of human martial madness, executing poets with conductors, painters with composers, artists, architects, and ballet dancers, mutilating them for life, sentencing them for life as invalids, or sparing them the whole war through to execute them in the end, a few days just before the armistice in wicked irony, or just expelling them, deleting them for some mistake that cannot be regretted. Who is next? But one thing will remain in all this tragic business, which is the most irrefutable of unescapabilities, that poets will be best remembered who were most cut short and silenced for no other reason than injustice. Going in. I would love to love you, getting lost in that deep darkness of your hair, the richness of your generosity and your characteristic mystery, of no end to the bottom of your secrets. Let me dig them up, allow me to be thorough in my work, of delving deep into your lair, to sort out all your fascinations, and get so intrigued about it as to never reaching any end. That is how love should be, and which it will be if you let me love you. The days of wines and roses. When will they ever come again, those desirable days of wines and roses that we had once and enjoyed so thoroughly, but couldn't stick to since we lost them, and since then just long for the nostalgia of sweet dreams of happiness so long since past and woken up from? Still, the sweetness is still there, of our longing and our dreams, and one day, you can bet on it, we will be there again, enjoying fully and with sparkling joy each other's company, to stay united then and never leave each other, but for temporary absences alone, while we remain together spiritually, never to get lost again. Self-destructiveness. It seems to be the illness of the age, when everyone is hurrying to his doom with fury speeded up by isms of every kind, to aid them to some kind of mania, like alcoholism, addiction of whatever kind, or, worst of all, the universal stress of workaholism, turning every potent individual to a robot of manipulated brainwash stoned efficiency, which makes it quite impossible for anyone to ever come down straight again, on stable feet with reasonable mind and the detachment from reality, which is the mark of health and soundness. So do we hasten to our end in frenzy, in a universal kind of lemming self-destruction, even hurrying up to make it shorter, like a going down Titanic, every minute making worse the torture, and we do not even seem to mind, but just rush blindly on in no direction, just for the sensation of it. And that seems to be the motor of all mankind, that self-destructive urge to hurry to the final fall that must inevitably come, the sooner and the better. And that is the greatest folly of them all, since that's the energy that keeps civilization rolling headlong downwards but still forward, in a blind chaotic craze of vanity that is its own most perfect punishment, since it keeps humankind alive and going round in circles of insanity of their own making, sentenced to that doom for life and all eternity, if they believe in it. Självdestruktivitet. Det verkar vara tidens sjukdom, så som alla verkar skynda mot sin undergång, uppblåsta, dopade och egotrippade, genom vad för ism och drog som helst, som bara hjälper dem på traven till mer maniskhet, som medicinmissbruk och drogmissbruk, alkoholism och vilket missbruk i stort som helst. Av vilka dock det värsta är arbetsnarkomanin, som karaktärsförändrar vilken människa som helst till en hjärntvättsmanipulerad robot av kall effektivitet, som gör det omöjligt för vem som helst att bli normal igen och komma ner på fötterna med sinnet i behåll och klar distans till verkligheten, det bästa tecknet på naturlig sundhet. Så hastar vi i raseri mot undergången, störtandes oss själva ursinnigt i blindhetsolycka och till och med accelererar för att göra plågan kortare, som i ett slags Titanics undergång där varje ögonblick blott gör alpina värre, och vi verkar inte bry oss om vårt lämmeltågs fördömelse, men bara skyndar på allt vildare i alla riktningar för bara sensationens skull i världskalabaliken, vilket verkar vara själva motorn i all mänsklighetens frammarsch, det självdestruktiva strävandet mot undergången som måste komma ju förr desto bättre. Och det är den största dårskapen av alla, då just det tycks vara energin som håller världens liv igång i ständig utförsbacke mot förintelsen, men ändå framåt i ett blint kaotiskt vansinne av fåfäng ävlan som blir eget rättvist straff av lämpligaste slag, som håller mänskligheten kvar i ekorrhjulet, skenande i inre cirklar av förvirringshysteri, i livstidsfängelse av egen instängdhet som straffgevighet för den som tror på den. The cruelty of love. True love is never quite requited, but becomes an aching wound to last forever, bleeding inwardly with tears of pain to always wet your whereabouts. And that's the company you'll always have, the substitute of what you lost. The cruelty of love is like a force of nature, unrelenting and inevitable, striking hard and always from behind, in a surprising deadly ambush for which you can never be prepared, a lightning from a clear sky without warning, striking you in silence down to cinders, leaving you a screaming wreck down in the drain, in utter solitude, with nothing left of all your love than bitter memories of how it never was fulfilled, but with the one and lasting comfort that it was not you who failed, since you did really love. Revelation of a mystery. They wonder who you are, but I will never tell them, never give our love away, the secret of our hearts that dwells in shadows of intimacy beyond the endless maze of 7 veils that hide the strangest secret in the world, the mystery of love according to our practice and experience, separating us from common knowledge, particularizing us into a special category of the rarest lovers, those that never were found out. And I will keep you there, concealed forever in my warmest heart, to there be cherished infinitely by my passion that could never burn more ardently than what it does for me and you. Avstickaren. apropå en rockkonsert i Göteborg med 60 000 besökare. Man kunde inte gå i närheten då oljudet var så öronbedövande att man blev lomhörd 1000 meter därifrån, och alla boende i området klagade på sportarenans orgier i oväsen som dränkte staden i audiell miljöförstöring, medan fanspubliken, 60 000, fyllde stadens gator med ölburkar, tomflaskor och skräp och sönderslagna tomglas, enkom ägnade att ge cyklisterna punktering med. Naturligtvis var denna tusenfaldiga publik helt med på noterna och öste på med samma fylla under drogbesatthetsskren och orgier som rockgruppen själva föregick med gott exempel i. Så säger det att sådana oväsensfyllon står på samma höga musikaliska nivå som Beethoven och Schubert, att Franz Liszt, Chopin och Mendelssohn var sin tids rockidoler, som om dessa mäktade prestera samma oväsen som rockarna, som lever på manipulerad masspsykos och ersätter sin brist på musikalitet med tom volym att spränga allas hörsel med. Man borde efter 30-talet redan ha förstått, i och med nazitidens masspsykoskultrörelser, att massan är ett lämmeltåg som bara vandrar mot sin undergång för att förgås och lämna intet efter sig förutom skräp och lik. Jag beklagar, men jag finner ingen mening med att delta i förryckta masspsykosers ruljanser, dagslänsflockars självförbränning genom lågornas berusning, gräshoppsvärmars nerskitning av samhället, och lyssnar hellre ensam på Chopin och Schubert i isolering bortanför vår världs larmande dårskapsraseri, än deltar i den universella korruptionen där blott pengar styr, bestämmer allt, kör över kvaliteten och gör kvantitetens syndaflod till diktatur. Jag går då hellre undan för att överleva underjordiskt än bli medbrottslig i samtids hänsynslösa fartårskaps totala blindhet. Varför göra livet outhärdligt när man dock kan göra det uthärdligt? Sharing. My love is dead, impossible and faded out, and still my life is hers as well as mine. What I am she is also, although far away, since sharing has become our life. Disturbance shattered our reunion, too many shut me out from her, and still her heart is mine as mine is hers, as if all that we share is more than life. The very depths of the abysmal feelings, constantly devouring our souls and drowning them in feelings inexpressible that can't be shared by anyone except your love. And then you know that you, in spite of all, are still in love and never quite alone, although your deepest feelings never can be shared by anyone except the company you find deep down at bottom of that loneliness you always thought you had, but brought you all the world for company. Except the company you find deep down at bottom of that loneliness you always thought you had, but brought you all the world for company. On the pain of love. My love, a synchronization always failed, as we could never reach each other, no matter how close we got, and intimately straight into each other's souls to stay there loving and adoring, but alas, with no synchronization. Could it be much worse, or could it be much better? There we are, in love and desperately, and cannot do anything about it, but just tumble hopelessly around in roller coasters, constantly derailing, between ups and downs, from tops of heavens to the abysses of hell, and up again, and never still, but always wildly bolting between every possible exaggeration and delightful dramatization, well, I guess it's just for us to carry on, continue wallowing in absences and presences, and make the best of it, although it sometimes ends up as the worst. The lover's pains dilemma is a syndrome which, perhaps a comfort, we will never be alone with, but will share with every lover in the universe. On a cherished bed of roses. On a cherished bed of roses we will do our exploration in the jungle of each other's hairs, which, like all nature, and especially all jungles and their freedom, constantly should be expanded, long hair meaning generosity and richness of goodwill and heart. And thus would I forever grow your hair to mark and underscore the meaning of our love, to simply keep developing and growing with our exploration of it, ever deeper into that rich jungle freedom of our inexhaustible, inalienable love forever. And thus would I forever grow your hair to mark and underscore the meaning of our love, to simply keep developing and growing with our exploration of it, ever deeper into that rich jungle freedom of our inexhaustible, inalienable love forever. Love's secret. Love is never stronger than when guided by a neutral altruism, manipulating anyone unconsciously to any strange constructive purpose and direction, most astonishing in their results to the unconscious messenger of love himself. That is another of love's manifold manifestations, that it works best silently and underground, without attracting notice, like a mole, pervading life and people with that destiny of only good which is received then naturally, without thanks, as something obvious and self-evident. That love is deepest which remains concealed, unknown to everyone except the keeper of the secret.